the Google study where they excuse me, study the attributes of the most successful teams?
Yes.
Or did I totally make that up?
No, you did not make that up. I feel like we should do some conspiracy theories. No, you're right on, Jed. All right, so you nailed it. And so, do you remember what the number one factor is for high performing teams?
Well, I'm going to guess, given the conversation we're having, that it's psychological safety.
Oh, I know. I ruined the surprise. You're right. So
no, that's what we're talking about. But
so the key here is that psychological safety. So they did this research. And if you have not heard of this research, by the way, we have a chat for that. You can go get the link for this and read it for yourself. And I highly recommend that you do. But the key here is they did 18 months of research and they said, we want to know what the highest performing teams are at Google so that we might be able to do it more, right? Sounds like a good idea. So they did that and they thought all these things that they're thinking about, turns out they were not the things. So they thought, is it the computers? Is it the composition of the team? Is it the leader? Is it the place, the setting that we give them? And all those factors were not in common. Because what happened was you had these wildly chaotic teams that creatively made stuff, right? And it was brilliant. And then you had these other teams and they were like, hit their milestones, hit everything to the minute, right? And got to their place and did amazing things. And you're like, what do these two teams have in common? And in the end, it's these 5 things. Impact, right? Your team members think that work matters and creates change. Meaning that the work is personally important to a team member. Structure and clarity. Team members have clear goals, plans, and roles, right? Goals and roles. Dependability, right? People get stuff done. And that there's also reliability or accountability, I guess, in the team. But the number one factor was this: psychological safety. So if I reinterpret what Erica said, it says team members feel safe to take risks and be vulnerable in front of each other. Again, I'll say that again. Team members feel safe to take risks and be vulnerable in front of each other. And so that's really the key. And I've been researching this. I've been doing this through team building is when I discovered this, because I was like, oh yeah, I want to know that. And I really have seen it in teams, right? Teams that win have all these factors. And this is really the number one, because otherwise what happens is you have a great idea and you suppress it. Or worse, you give a great idea and you give it to the group and your group crushes it, right? Some leader in the group doesn't listen to you. And after that, you're just like, I'm out. You know, I'm sure each of you have been on a team where I just like something happened and you're like, I'm out of contributing to this team. And what happens to the team is you lose all of that. So to me, this has been the number one thing that I've seen over the past few years, and especially the past 12 months of like, how do we get people to get cameras on? So the next thing I'm going to teach you is what I call the invitation, right? So again, I'm going to give a really terrible invitation, invitation, which is this. Why do you think that psychological safety is important for people turning their cameras on, right? Anyone? Okay, great. So we're just going to move on. I'm just going to tell you the answer. So something that I've discovered, Kendall was like this too. She was like, I have something to say, right? And people don't realize what they're doing in that, right? Yes, thank you for the thumbs up. Because I told you that was a thumbs down. Turn upside down, thumbs down. Is that is in that what I've seen in multiple groups and many speakers I've had to coach, saying in that invitation, if you're going to get your group to interact, you need to do that in a certain way. And so here are the things that I think now are important. Number one is tell people specifically how to participate. So let's say in this case, I'm going to raise a virtual hand. All right. So, and then give choices. Give choices, right? It's okay either to do this or that or whatever you. And then number 3 is be comfortable with silence. So each of you in your head, count to 3 before you do something to this next invitation that I'm going to give you. So why do you think that psychological safety is important for getting people to turn their cameras on? So if you'd like to answer, please raise your virtual hand, right? Or you can also raise your physical hand because I can see all of you with your cameras on. But yeah, if you're ready to ask, either raise your virtual hand or your physical hand and let me know. There we go. All right, great. So Erica said, yeah, you have another piece to add to this. Go ahead.
No, you told me to count to 3 and then we either raise our hand or a virtual hand. I followed your instructions.
Perfect. Anybody else have any? Now I'm truly, really asking the question, Erica. Erica, were you lucky? I think you were a GPA 4.0. 4.5.
I completely rewrote the box to make sure that it didn't look like a box.
Oh, I like that even more. That's why we're friends. Great to have you here. Okay, great. Anybody else? Why do you think psychological safety is important? So really raise your hand. So you can use your physical hand, you can use your virtual hand, either one. Okay, let's go to Doug. Go ahead, Doug.
People won't engage. They'll check out. They're concerned about,
Oh, you do have raised hand right there.
are they going to be judged? Are they going to be ridiculed? I mean,
Yep.
just people aren't going to speak up.
Yeah, okay. So how does psychological safety play into that?
Well, if you don't feel safe, I mean, it's any culture. If you don't feel safe and risking, making decisions, coming up with ideas, you're just going to withdraw because you haven't felt safe before. And yeah.
And Doug's in an industry where feeling safe or being a trusted advisor is critical, right? He does financial coaching, and you know that's almost as emotional topic as religion. And so, right, people need to trust you before they start talking to you, right, Doug?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what's one or two things that you do to get your clients to be comfortable with you?
I talk to them about everything's confidential, and that I'm not going to impose any values of mine on theirs.
Exactly.
Other than I won't support anything immoral or illegal.
Yep.
And that you don't have to agree. You know, we're going to explore ideas. I'm going to make suggestions, but ultimately this is your decision and it's your money. And I'm here to help you be more effective.
Now listen to all the things actually Doug put inside of it. I asked him for one and he gave me 20, number one. But number two, right, you'd go like, oh, all right. So, I mean, even if you don't know and you didn't work with Doug, you're now starting to think like, well, maybe I would, because